be sharing with you in this video how to follow through with your word and who you say you're going to be. Because if you can't follow through with who you say you're going to be, it's not going to be easy for you to create what you want in your life. It's going to be very difficult. Creating what you want in your life, yes, is going to require you to put in effort and to work hard sometimes, in my personal belief. But it doesn't mean that you can't make the systems in your life work for you to make things easier. And if you learn to follow through with who you say you're going to be, there's a path where you can still put in all the effort, but just make your life just a little bit easier and just really just make it so that you actually follow through. And yes, you can set the intentions. Yes, you can think and plan accordingly and all the things you're going to do. But just remember that at the end of the day, you're going to have to follow through with the intention and follow through with the plan. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how to do this. And so the first thing that I want to share with you is, before I even go into, in my personal opinion, how to follow through with your word and who you say you're going to be and who you say you're going to become, is just the importance of understanding that, your ability to follow through with your word and follow commands, your ability to follow commands will influence your success strongly. So if you have a hard time following commands that you tell yourself you're going to do, if you can't follow the commands that you tell yourself you're going to do and who you say you're going to be, it's going to be hard for you to create the success that you want in your life. And here's the interesting thing. What is even success to you? Because success to me is your ability to follow through with who you say you're going to be. That's what success is. I think that a great way to follow through with who you say you're going to be is to understand the importance that, what is your definition of success? To me, success is not achieving a result. It's my ability to follow through with who I say I'm going to be. That's what success is. Just understanding this concept and seeing it in this way, that alone in of itself can a lot of the times allow you to then follow through to be that person that you say you're going to be. Make it a lot easier for you to become that person that you actually want to be in your life. So remember, what is even success to you? Is success getting a result for a few seconds in your day and then you go back to living a life where you can't even be the person that you said you were going to be? Because I promise, if you get a result if you even get the result, but you can't be that person on a consistent basis and follow the commands that you tell yourself you're going to do, you're going to lose the result at some point. You're not going to be able to maintain it. And that's a very bold claim, but I think it's the truth nonetheless, because you can achieve something in your life very powerfully, but then are you going to be able to continue to be the person that you said you were going to be? That's what's going to allow you to maintain it and to not lose it. So just remember that your ability to follow commands is going to influence your success strongly. And I think that awareness and redefinition of success can be what is required of you to then actually follow through once again and be the person that you said you're going to be. Just to see success in that way. Sometimes a quick redefinition of success is what's absolutely needed just to then go through your life being able to have that trust within yourself that you're going to follow through with what you said you're going to be. Because if you see success in this way, if you see success as, I don't need to get the result, it has nothing to do with the result, it's just that it depends on me being who I say I am. That's success. What that does is that changes your, I'm not going to say drive, but willingness to take action regardless of the emotions that pop up in your experience. Because it's not really about, it's really just about willingness. That's all it really is. It's, are you willing to take action? Because you might be scared. You might feel emotional. You might feel like you don't want to do it sometimes. You might feel like concerned, and you might feel like you're in the unknown and you don't know. But it's like, despite all of that, can you simply just take action anyway? And just do it anyway, right? And just follow through with what you said you're going to be anyway. You might not know if it's the right choice. You might be scared. Well, what if I'm not making the right choice? What if I follow through with this and it fails? What if I follow through with this and it's the wrong choice? But then you just simply do it anyway. And you just go ahead and do it because you know what? You're just going to follow through because why? You said you were going to do it. And you've already made the choice. You sometimes just can't go back on the choice. You just got to do it. You just have to commit to the choice and see the result and what's going to happen. And I'm not saying to be unwise and to not be thinking about the proper choices to make in your life and to not think about the consequences of your actions. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that sometimes, even once you've thought about all the consequences and you've made the choice, it's time for you just to follow through. You've already thought about it. You've already figured it all out. You've already thought about all the pros and the cons. It's time for you just to follow through and just to be the person that you said you're going to be. And remember, that's what success is. So if you want to be successful, then be the person that you said you're going to be, because that's what success is. Success is being able to commit to the person that you're going to be and then actually be that and then actually do it because you said you were going to do it and you decided on it in your mind. Even if you didn't tell anybody about it, you knew what you wanted and you know what you want. And if you're not aligning your actions with it every single day, and you know you can, and that's a huge problem. And so I want to share with you something here. And the second thing in this video is just remember that, I think a lot of times we're very concerned about, what are the consequences and fears. I'm worried about what happens if I commit to this. What happens if I take action in this direction? What might happen if I do this? But I want to ask you something. What might happen if you don't follow through with who you said you're going to be? Because, there's consequences to taking action for sure. 100% agreed. If you take action, there's certain things that might happen. If you commit and follow through with who you said you're going to be, I understand there's many concerns, there's many fears. I understand the worries and why you might be scared to do that. But with that being said, even though it's scary to commit to who you said you were going to be and to commit fully and boldly to who you said you're going to be, there's also very high concern and high fear. For me, I'm very fearful of not following through. Not taking action. That's very scary to me. It's very scary to me to not take action, because if I don't take action, that to me is going to create a life of, I'm going to be regretful. I'm going to look back at my life and think, why didn't I take action? And I'm going to think, well, there's not enough time anymore because I wasted all my time. And that's going to be scary. That for me, that's a consequence. A consequence of not following through is getting to the end of your life and you realize you didn't take action towards your goal. That's a very real concern. So remember, taking action towards your goal is risky, but not taking action towards your goal is also pretty risky. There's a risk towards pretty much every decision that you make in your life. But if there's a risk, everything is an opportunity cost. You may as well weigh out the pros and the cons and just see, are you going to not take action or are you going to do it? Are you going to do it or not? But either way, make a choice and commit to that. And don't go against that, because if you go against that, that's not going to help you to get a result either, right? If you're going in this direction, half in, half out, you're never going to really experience one world. Just commit to the world and figure it out. If you don't like the world, change the world and do something else. That's how my mind works personally. I would rather just do things fully and give everything my full undivided attention, so that then I can get the full experience of what I'm doing and not be half in and then half out with whatever it is that I do. I'd rather be 100% with what it is that I'm doing, give everything my full attention, and then see that, well, if I'm not enjoying this, to rethink what choice I make and then commit to that instead, and then move forward with the next world and the next reality that I'm trying to create and what it is that I want to do. Because, for me, I think that if you want to be a good multitasker, the best thing you can do is learn to focus on just one thing at a time and just focus on one thing as you're doing it. And then if you just do one thing at a time, you're going to be able to accomplish many things on your list. And then that allows me to be a better multitasker. And I think that with this in mind, this is what's also going to help us to start to realize that, sometimes it's just about remembering that you might need to just think about what would happen if you don't become the person that you want to be. If you're not going to commit to the person that you're going to be and you don't do it, what is the potential result of that? What does that look like? And are you okay with that? If you're not okay with not being the person that you said you're going to be, really become not okay with that, to the point where it's non-negotiable for you to then take action towards your vision. See, when you're 100% decided that not taking action is something you're absolutely not going to tolerate in your life, and you will not tolerate that world whatsoever, you're going to start to take action towards who you want to be, undoubtedly so, because you know that there's, at that point, no alternative. Whereas if you're okay with where you are and you're still comfortable there, there's an alternative, but you have to make it so that there's no alternative. So think about this for a moment. You don't have to do this, but I invite and encourage you just to really go into what would happen if you don't take action, if you don't become the person that you really want to. What are the consequences of that? That's scary. Let that sink in for just a little bit, and then use that as fuel to be the person that you actually want to be. And so the final thing that I want to share with you in this video, so if you're going to go through life and you're going to actually be bold, when you're going through your life, that's the mentality that's going to really help you to just follow through. Because think about it, you might be concerned. You might be like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like taking action. You might have all these limiting beliefs and concerns about why you can't do the thing you're going to say you're going to do. But then just remember, just be bold. Just take action. Just be fearless. Be relentless. Just take action. Action can replace fear so quickly. You might be worried about something. You might feel like, oh, I don't feel like doing something. You might feel like resistance and all this stuff, limiting beliefs. And it's like, just be bold. Just take action. Just do it. Just simply do it. And even if you're scared, just do it anyway. It's like, I don't know. For me, it's almost like, it's a realization where like nobody ever said that you didn't have to be scared, like that you don't have to not be scared. You can be scared, and just do it anyway. Like, I know that sounds crazy to say it like that, but it's like, you can simply be scared about something. You can be worried about something. You might feel like, maybe you're scared to do it, and maybe you're worried and you have anxiety, but you can just simply do it anyway. And I'm not saying that you're going to go against your feeling. It's almost like doing it is going to make you feel better, because you know that not doing it is going to be the worst option. It's like not doing it and not being bold, for me, creates a state of more resistance than if I'm just simply bold and if I go against my fear. Because if I stay in fear, then I'm going to stay in a feeling of, why didn't I take action? Why am I not taking action? Overthinking. But if I replace the overthinking with just action and simply take action, and I'm simply just bold in that moment, whatever that means, what happens is that all that fear gets replaced with the action itself. And then as you're taking action, you're no longer scared and you're being fearless. Fearlessness really comes from just ignoring your fear and taking action anyway. But nobody said that you weren't scared to begin with. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if you look, you might look at somebody and say like, oh my gosh, they're so fearless. No, they're experiencing the fear. They just are ignoring it. It's like the fear still might be in their system, but they are transmuting the fear and and that might be a scary realization. It's like, well, what does that even mean? That means that, at a moment-to-moment basis, we're taking negativity, we're taking the fear of the past, and we're turning it into something better. And we're choosing to take that fear of the past and to not believe in it and to be something that you prefer to be instead in your life, so that then you can actually follow through with who you say you're going to be. So I think that remembering to be bold is what's going to, again, help you to actually be that person that you say you're going to be. Because if you're not willing to be bold, if you're not willing to step into this mentality of being bold, it's not going to be easy to create the vision that you want. It's going to be difficult. It's going to feel like a strenuous process. It's going to feel like a lot harder. And it can be so much easier if you're just willing to actually be bold as you go throughout your day. So remember, if you're going through your day and you feel like you don't want to do something, and you're creating all this mental stories about why you shouldn't do something, why not just be bold, take action, and replace the mental chit chatter of resistance with action, so that you can at least just find out what happens or make results happen while you're still learning. Because you could still be learning and not know if it's the right choice, and then get amazing results in your life even through that whole process. You could be figuring it out, not really knowing if you're making the right choices and doing the right things, and not fully understanding, but committing relentlessly and fearlessly and boldly and still getting results. You could not have it all figured out and still take action. You can feel emotional and have negativity come up in your life and still take action. You can not understand everything and feel problems happen sometimes and have challenges. You might feel like some days you don't know if you're doing it right. You might feel really bad sometimes. You might feel like you don't know if you're doing anything correctly, but you can still take action and do it anyways, and just be bold and just continue on and then continue on and just do it anyway. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is to believe in the fear, but that's not going to help you get the result. So why not put yourself in a position to have the highest probable chance of getting the result, where even though you might be emotional sometimes and feel pain and resistance and suffering, just to be bold and take action anyway. You might be scared to do it, but just take action anyway. You might be like, oh, I don't know if this is the right choice. Just take action anyway. And I'm not saying don't be unwise. I'm not saying to, I'm not saying to not be wise, excuse me. I'm not saying to not be wise. I'm saying to just remember to be bold when the moment calls for it, and to not believe in the limiting beliefs of the past negativity and the past situations that you're gonna get over now because you're a better person, right? You just let go of the past. The past is the past. You can simply choose to be who you are now. Be bold. Whatever intentions you have in your life, whatever goals, visions, and dreams and aspirations you want to create in your life, be bold and relentlessly and fearlessly and boldly take action towards those goals and dreams. Just take action towards those things, in a very bold way, to the point where almost that you're putting in so much effort, that you're putting in the 100% effort, where you know that you have the highest probability of actually seeing those things actually happen in your life, because you're actually doing the actions that you need to be taking, because you know that you're going against your fear and you're doing the things that you need to do to get the result. You're doing it. If you know you're doing it, you're going to be able to have a much better time having this perspective in mind, actually follow through with the person that you say you're going to